What a great time of year it is. Beautiful weather and all the sports you can handle. This weekend you have the Kentucky Derby and big-time boxing matches. If you're looking to add some excitement, make BetDSI your betting partner. Use BetDSI's live betting platform where you can watch all the events and even bet till the final bell. New members get a 100% bonus match using promo code DR101. That's double your money to start winning today. So why choose BetDSI? BetDSI has been paying winners for 20 years. BetDSI is the top rated on betting review sites. Try betting on BetDSI where you can bet all the games from start to finish. Every play, every minute until the end. Again, new members get a 100% bonus match using promo code DR101. That's double your money to start winning today. I play there myself and recommend BetDSI if you want to add some excitement to the sports you love or any other sports that you're watching. Once again, go to BetDSI and use promo code DR101. Get this limited time 100% bonus cash offer. It's only a game until you bet it on BetDSI.
Every car comes with its share of stories. That ding in your bumper when you nervously picked up your first date, the luxury package you got after a big promotion, or the mileage you saved by riding your bike all summer. While you can't put a price tag on your stories, now with TrueCar, you can at least find out what your car's worth when it's time to sell or trade it in. Just go to TrueCar. Simply enter your license plate number and watch how your car's details pop up. Then answer a few questions. Navigation and moonroof? Watch as they bump up your value. High mileage? You already knew it was going to cost you, but now you know how much it dings your wallet so you can plan ahead. Once you're finished, you'll get a True Cash offer sent in minutes, which you can take to a local certified dealer to cash out or trade in. So when you're ready to experience a better way to sell or trade in your car, check out TrueCar today. True Cash offer not available in all states. All right, hour number 2 of the Rich Eisen Show. We are on the air here on a very, very busy Tuesday, last day of April 2019. And in the first hour, we had a great chat with Brian Windhorst of ESPN. And right now, the top 3 trending items on Twitter as we are coming on in hour number 2, in which Trent Dilfer is going to call us as we revisit the NFL draft. And now that we know all these kids that came, no doubt, most if not all came out of the Elite 11 system, which teams they wound up on, are they good fits or not? Kyler Murray, Arizona, obviously that sounds like a good fit. What about Daniel Jones? What about Dwayne Haskins, who Trent called the Tom Brady-ish quarterback? What about Drew Lock? What about Rosen in Miami? I really want to know what Trent thinks on all this stuff, and he's one of the most astute evaluators of quarterbacks, and certainly about previous level, next level stuff. He's about to join us. Top 3 trending subjects. Sonic the Hedgehog, everybody. I guess people love Sonic.
The new trailer just
No, I know that, but are people just so crazy about Sonic that they take to Twitter? Because if I spoke to people younger than me, let me tell you about Sonic the Hedgehog, they'd be like, "What? Who?" But I had no idea is that so big? Is that so big? Is that the same name? Is that what they named the fast food place? Is it the same thing, or is it just different?
I think
are they separate but different? Separate but equal co-branches of pop culture, food, and movie?
I mean, we got James Marsden and Jim Carrey.
I know that. Well, that's why Jim Carrey's the number 5 trending subject. Number 2 is Venezuela, and why not? Because that is not looking good right now. And then number 3, Scott Foster, the NBA referee. Sonic, Venezuela, Scott Foster. Who are 3 people who have never been in my kitchen? Is that, you know? Well, so now when Cheers, that's when Sonic was big, right?
No, it was
after
early
Cheers?
Early 90s for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well,
Sega Genesis.
Cheers was still on early 90s, pal. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's when Woody Harrelson was big on that show, bud.
All right, 93. Cheers went off the air in
Correct.
93.
Yeah. There's a Sonic the Hedgehog Cheers Venn diagram somewhere that meets, that meshes in the middle. And I just found that sweet spot, sir.
Well done.
Didn't think I'd do that today, be very honest with you. Look, a referee in the NBA is trending before a game. That's no bueno. That's no good. And Brian Windhorst was describing before, he just giving voice, and he's written about it. This is a major problem. This is a crisis. Could you imagine if before the Super Bowl an NFL ref, or look, this is not the Super Bowl, although it's the de facto Super Bowl. Let's just say before an NFC divisional playoff game between two teams that we all thought were the best teams, a wild card team that somehow didn't finish in first place.
Okay.
And the number one seed. Never is like, this is for the Super Bowl. This is like a Super Bowl. What if Bill
Vinovich is trending?
Yeah. Right. Or Scott Parry is the latest to leave and go into television. What if or John Parry, that's his name. What if Hockley ever trended? The NFL would freak. And what if an NFL team did what the Rockets, according to ESPN, did in a game in which, as Windhorst pointed out, they missed every three-pointer under the sun. Oh. And they come up with a report saying there were at least 81 missed calls or non-calls that went against them that cost them anywhere between 18 and 19 points in that game that they would have won if the referees didn't blow it on behalf of the Warriors. I mean, that's essentially is what ESPN is saying, this memo that was never handed in to the NBA, but was communicated to the NBA. And Mike Bass, who is a long-time NBA employee and spokesman for the league, let me get this right, said, according to, they do not agree with their methodology. I'm paraphrasing here. What if an NFL team did that and sent it and basically called up Troy Vincent, who's, the top executive in charge of all football operations, the head of NFL refs, and just basically said, we looked at everything, and you guys cost us at least a touchdown or field position that we could have kicked a field goal with, and we don't want that ref in our games anymore. And fans are now tweeting about it. We're all watching this game tonight. We're going to be watching for an official. That's a fact. I'm going to be. I know I will. Who made that call? What's Chris Paul going to do? What's they're going to say? What's their reaction going to be?
And like Brian Windhorst just said, it's not just Scott Foster. Ed Malloy has a history with the Warriors. So we got two guys in this game that neither team like.
And we're talking officials, and it's kind of nuts.
And
I'm looking up right now, and ESPN's got the same video right now. Windhorst is on right now talking about the same subject, and it's not like he wants to go pounding the table. This is something about a sport that he covers and that he loves so much being eaten up from the inside. This is a civil war going on right now. That gets worse. It's getting worse. There's 12 ejections in the league this year.
Yeah, we have the 8 best teams left. We have the top 2 playing in this conference semifinal, and all we're talking about is the best players whining and complaining about calls and non-calls. It's really too bad.
Well, it's tonight, and then there's the Celtics and the Bucks, and the point that Windhorst made is that the reason why you don't see this issue in other series is because the Rockets are the ones who take advantage of the gray area of what constitutes a foul on a 3-point shot, and they land right in the middle.
And they've changed the game in the way they play basketball. They take more threes than anybody else.
Andrew in Minneapolis. Let's take your phone call here on the Rich Eisen Show as Trent Dilfer is going to join us shortly. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, Rich. Huge fan. Love your show. Listen to it every day.
Thanks, brother. Means a lot.
So you've got Kevin Durant, who's played so well for the Warriors with a bunch of different stars on the team, perennial all-stars. And he's been MVP twice, possibly a third time. Do we think that Kevin Durant shining so brightly among the stars is more impressive, or let's say LeBron taking that scrubby team to the finals that one year?
Hey, look, Durant is, as far as I'm concerned, the best player in the NBA. I've said it.
I've been saying it for forever, too.
I've said it. He's a matchup nightmare. I mean, in the conversation we're having, Andrew, the video that we're showing on the screen is him taking shots from the elbow, him coming off the dribble from the top of the three-point arc, him fading away, him making a three, him blocking a shot, him leading the break. He's 7 foot tall. There's nobody like him. He's the best player in the NBA as far as I am concerned, and everybody thinks that he joined a team to try and win, and he got his way to a championship as a free agent. And I think that is absurd. I think he is now woven into the fabric of the Warriors. I love to tweet Brockman every single time he makes a big shot saying the Warriors are his team, and then Curry makes a three from the logo like Lillard, and or Lillard does it like Curry. They're in a remarkable team, and this is why that Windhorst, in a great insider segment, says that that's the reason why the Rockets are creating a lot of dust up on the foul front, is because they know they need that sort of edge to try and win 4 out of 7 against this team when healthy. So, you know the way I feel about Durant. I think he's the best player in the NBA, and I think he'd be insane to leave the Warriors. Absolutely insane. His legacy's right there, where he could be, the Bill Russell to Durant to Curry's Kuzi. Why not? Right? Why don't they win 5 in a row and 6 out of 7 and see how that tastes for the rest of the century?
You're a Knicks fan. If he brings one to the Garden, what do you think of that?
I think it would be a disaster for him. But
really?
We'll see. Yeah, I do. I really do, because Dolan stinks. And everything he touches dies.
Let's not wormhole right now, but
I won't. No,
He
does. No, Andrew, you do clearly listen. Obviously, look, hold on a minute. Let me qualify that. Let's see.
Okay.
And thank you for the call and your fandom as well. Thank you. Let's see if the ping pong balls drop. If they get Zion, then I think Durant will listen.
Oh yeah.
And then he can call up somebody else and say, "Let's go." If that somebody is somebody from the New Jersey area who would actually like to come back to Madison Square Garden and take the money and break up the Celtics at the same time. And then Dolan will really step in it, and we'll see if his karma does blow it up. But the ping pong balls, it just so happens to be they have changed the rule because of the tanking that had gone on. And this is the first year in which having the worst record does not mean that you get a much better shot at the number one. The percentages are absurd. Can you look that up for me, Eric? So at least when I start talking about this, because the draft lottery is coming up in a couple of weeks, I'm a little bit more well-versed. I saw it the other day. It's less than 20% chance of getting the number one overall pick, and it used to be much higher.
Yeah, so the top 3 teams with the worst records all have the same percentage chance to get the number one pick. It's 14%. And then the 4th worst team, 12.5%. Team 5, 10.5%.
They did this to make sure that, hey, there's no difference between finishing 1 and there's no difference between finishing 5th, so stop tanking.
Exactly.
Nobody listened.
But by the way, you're the worst team in the NBA and you only get a 14% chance?
Tell you, man, worst karma ever.
Can you imagine if they did that in the NFL?
You got a shot at Zion. You got a shot at Zion, and watch, he'll wind up in Cleveland. Or he'll wind up in Phoenix. Doesn't matter.
For whoever their new coach is.
Why not? We also talked about the end of the ESPN the magazine, which is kind of a bummer.
Kind of a bummer.
I got a tweet during the commercial break from a fellow named Dan Skinner, who I gave a shout-out to in a column in 2000.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like, what are you talking about? And he sent it to me. I wrote a column about going to spring training down in Florida.
Okay, that's cool.
And I forgot about this, but it happened. We were at the Braves complex, which is right next door to Disney World. And obviously working for ESPN and Disney, that's where we were situated. We were covering the Braves that day. And I do remember Greg Maddux leaving the facility. I was chatting with him along with some others. And Maddux, 90 minutes before tee-off, I wrote, Maddux let this slip. This team's ready for another great year, although too bad we won't have Smoltzy. And I'm like, what? And he goes, forget I said anything, and he walked away. Remember Smoltz had that Tommy John.
Oh, wow.
And he was done for the year in 2000. And we were just like, what? And according to me, back in 2000, the Braves PR man called in sick, leaving us to wonder if this was what we were thinking about. But Smoltz, as class and act as any, readily spoke about his 2000 season going down the tubular route, much like our tea time. And a young Disney PR man named Dan came to the rescue, setting up interviews for us like dominoes. That's what I tweeted. I wrote this.
And then he came back and became a dominant closer.
And I wrote this. By the way, Dan is the youngest person working at any spring training site by about half a century. They call Florida's games the Grapefruit League. I call it Cocoon 3. The number of sweet gray-haired retirees who work the camp lots, concessions, and grounds is astounding, and all they have is either wooden sticks with red vinyl flags on them or slickers made of yellow vinyl. I swear Wilford Brimley escorted me into a parking lot in Kissimmee. That's what I wrote for ESPN the magazine in 2000. And because we saw the cover was Who's Next, and in 1998, one in each sport, it was Eric Lindros of hockey and Kobe in hoops, and A-Rod in baseball, and Cordell Stewart in football. And we're like, who would be the next this time around? We went with Mahomes, Austin Howard in hockey. But what is Austin Matthews? My God, did I say Howard? Jeez. I should write this stuff down and make sure I don't know what's coming out of my mouth anymore.
By the way,
I've spoken for, I think, 9 straight days.
Great point by Del Tufo.
I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Should we put Tom Brady as next? Tom Brady's the
I may
next.
still put Tom Brady on there.
Stop it. So it's Austin Matthews, Mahomes. Who else did we say? I said Trout for baseball, but we came up with Mookie Betts, right?
I still think like Ronald Acuna, one of these really young guys.
Well, Betts is still. I mean, he's not. He's
young,
not in cocoon himself. And then in hoops, we came out with Zion. That's a no-brainer, right?
26, definitely Zion.
Yeah.
Sure.
David in California, let's take your call before we get to Trent Dilfer. What's up, David?
Hey, Rich. I'm a huge fan, first of all. I listened to your show a long time. This is the first time I'm calling in. But
well done,
you're
sir.
Awesome.
Thanks you. Right back at you. Thanks for doing it.
If they ever make a Mount Rushmore of, sports, TV, and or radio hosts, Rich Eisen will be up there.
All right, David. I'll accept that. Thank you.
But insofar as the next ones, I disagree with Trout. I think he's the current one, so I'd put Vlad Guerrero Jr. there.
Oh, that's not a bad one.
There you go.
That's a really good one, David. All right, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Zion, and who else?
Zion, Mahomes are pretty much no-brainers. For hockey, anybody not saying Connor McDavid, you're off your rocker, man. That guy's so unbelievably talented.
All right, he's right. All right. I mean, yeah. Okay, that's what I said, the first one I said, but okay. Maybe we do McDavid, since I'm going to go with my first subject, even though I'm my director. I normally like to be white, 22. Balanced, and properly framed. Okay. All right. He's fine with it, too. Good stuff, David. Thanks for... Don't be a stranger. Keep calling back, okay?
Will do. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's David in California. Vlad Guerrero Jr. Did you see his first hit? He looked just like his daddy. Slashing it down the right field line.
He swings just like him.
He does, doesn't he? From his heels.
Out of his shoes.
Where the hell have the Blue Jays been hiding him?
Well, they didn't want to pay.
But then, after they could have, they still kept him out. Man, oh man, oh man. That's not a bad one.
That's a good.
So
really
Zion,
good.
Vlad Jr., Mahomes, and McDavid. Connor McDavid.
It's pretty good.
That's it. Yeah, McDavid and Mahomes have already won MVPs. They're here.
So
not Tua. Mahomes is next.
Trevor Lawrence.
No, but Mahomes is. Hold on a second. We'll ask Dilfer this. Mahomes is next. It doesn't matter if he's already won an MVP.
But he's now. He's the NFL now.
But so was Lindros. And Kobe was now, too. What are you talking about? Kobe was now in 98.
No, Kobe was coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Kobe was now in 98.
He's just starting out back then.
Kobe was now in 98. Didn't Kobe get drafted in 96? That was year 3 for him. Come on. And Mahomes is next. Mahomes has won an MVP. That's fine, but Mahomes is next. He doesn't have a ring yet. Mahomes is next.
Kobe wasn't a starter yet.
Yeah,
in 98?
No, yeah. It was
98 was his first year starting. So when the issue came out, he had only played, he only started 7 games in 2 years.
Mahomes is next, man.
He's the MVP. He's the cover of Madden. He's now.
It's just 1 year. It's 1 year, but he's got. This is his time. Murray. Everybody wants one of him.
That's why I like my Kyler Murray pick.
It's some 15-year-old Elite 11 guy that Dilfer has. That's his next.
Yeah. All right. 844-204-RICH number to dial. Fun chat today, and we'll have a great chat with Trent Dilfer when we come back here on all of these quarterbacks that just got drafted and what their fit is going to be, where they have wound up the NFL draft in the books. Trent Dilfer is next. Okay, this is a 30-second commercial, and I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you. But please stay with me. In just 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. This company's been offering great rates and great service for over 75 years, and anytime you need help, you can speak to one of their trained specialists 24/7. The company is Geico. Go to geico.com today. Sorry for all the numbers. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm out of time. Hey, listeners, just wanted to take a minute to thank all of my great sponsors and all of you great listeners for supporting this podcast. Certainly couldn't do this show without either of you, and I wanted to remind you that you can support my sponsors by going to my show page at podcastone.com, clicking on the Support This Podcast button, and there you'll see all of my wonderful sponsors that help make this show possible. So thank you for downloading, subscribing, and, of course, supporting. Now, back to the show.
What a great time of year it is. Beautiful weather and all the sports you can handle. This weekend you have the Kentucky Derby and big-time boxing matches. If you're looking to add some excitement, make BetDSI your betting partner. Use BetDSI's live betting platform where you can watch all the events and even bet till the final bell. New members get a 100% bonus match using promo code DR101. That's double your money to start winning today. So why choose BetDSI? BetDSI has been paying winners for 20 years. BetDSI is the top rated on betting review sites. Try betting on BetDSI where you can bet all the games from start to finish. Every play, every minute until the end. Again, new members get a 100% bonus match using promo code DR101. That's double your money to start winning today. I play there myself and recommend BetDSI if you want to add some excitement to the sports you love or any other sports that you're watching. Once again, go to BetDSI and use promo code DR101. Get this limited time 100% bonus cash offer. It's only a game until you bet it on BetDSI.
Our poll question brought to you by Capital One's Reimagined Banking by offering savings in checking accounts with no fees or minimums and one of the nation's best savings rates. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Approval required. Capital One, NA, member FDIC. What's their current over there, Chris Brockman?
All right, who's got the best chance to come back? All these teams are down 1-0 in their NBA playoff series. Bucks, Rockets, Blazers. Right now, Bucks lead the way 36%. Blazers 35%, Rockets 29%.
You know, we're having this argument about who's next if we created our own ESPN The Magazine cover in honor of a magazine that's being shuttered after 21 years. And you're like, he can't be Mahomes. He's already won an MVP. It's just year two for him. Lindros was on the cover in 98. 98 was year 7 for him. He had already had a Calder and a Hart Trophy, several All-Star appearances.
Really?
Yes. Yes. But it's just the way that he played was next. That's why Mahomes is next. If I'm creating that cover right now, we'll have a more of a conversation about it. This was one of my favorite moments from Friday night. Roll it.
Nashville, you are killing it this week.
Nice.
With the 39th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Sean Bunting, DB, Central Michigan.
Sean Bunting, introduced to the crowd by our good friend Trent Dilfer, who's here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Trent?
Rich, what's up, buddy? I was nervous, man, when I got up there and looked out down Broadway and couldn't see the end of the mass of people.
I was going to ask.
My hand was shaking holding that card.
I was going to ask that, Trent, because the way we were situated, we were off to the side, as you know. I didn't have the clear, straight view shot up Broadway from the state. What did that look like, that mass of humanity in front of you?
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've been to Times Square for New Year's Eve, but, you never have that perspective. You're never high enough.
Right.
You're so high on that stage that I don't have the vocabulary to describe it. I mean, it's endless. It's like an ocean of people, and you can't see to the end of Broadway. I mean, it was endless. It's as if the people went off into infinity. It was crazy. I'm not joking. I don't get nervous very often. My hand was sweating and the card was shaking as I got up there.
What was your draft night like when you got drafted, Trent?
So different. I mean, back then I was one of the kids in New York, and I was supposed to go 1, then I was supposed to go 3, and I ended up going 6. And, you come in, you have a dinner, you wake up, you do the day, you go to the draft, you sit in a chair like right off to the side of the stage. There was no green room. There was no cameras. I think there was a camera like roaming, a handheld or something. And, You get drafted, and then you're like done. Then you're on a plane to go to your city to do a press conference. I mean, it had 1/5 the sizzle that, well, not even that, 1/50th the sizzle as what it has now.
It's amazing what it has turned into. Trent Dilfer.
It's so cool. And by the way, couldn't be a bigger fan of what it's become. I mean, I just think it is truly an epic moment for the kids. You guys crush it.
Thanks, bud.
I mean, it's an NFL property, and you guys you have the best people talking about it, and you have fun with it. And I like your new glasses, by the way. You got your computers rocking. And
my beard.
I just think it's a great event.
Yeah, I got a text from Trent. He likes the beard, Chris. He likes the beard.
I like it.
Yeah, we both.
The beard glasses combo. And then the beige suit was really nice as well.
Thank you, Trent. I really appreciate that. Trent Dilfer here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, let's start with the 6th pick of this draft, because that's the one that people are flipping out about, and they still are in the New York metropolitan area. What did you think of the pick of Daniel Jones and the fit for him with Shermer and the Giants?
Yeah, again, like most of my answers, it's long-winded and complex, but I like the fit. I hate where he was picked. I mean, his play, his potential does not justify the 6th pick of the draft. I think that's a consensus. He was not overly productive. He's not overly talented. He didn't win at a high clip. He didn't necessarily get the best from the least. He didn't do the things from a productivity standpoint that justify that pick, nor does the talent justify. He's a good athlete, not an elite athlete. He's a good thrower. He's not a great thrower. He's a really good leader and a great kid, so maybe that's the intangible part may fit. But you know what he is? I think they got tricked by he's well-trained. And I think that's where the quarterback discussion gets sticky around draft time. Is some evaluators look at training and confuse it with talent and potential. And then some look at talent and potential and confuse it with, he can be trained. And there's this delicate balance of both, that you need a certain amount of juice, talent, and you need a certain amount of proof that your training is transferable to the NFL game. Daniel's a well-trained player with above average juice. So it does not justify where he's picked. And I'm with both. I think they could have gotten him in the teens, in the 20s, and maybe in the 30s.
Wow. So, yeah, because Gettleman said there was no way that he'd be there at 17. You don't see that.
Well, who was going to take him? The Redskins weren't going to take him over Haskins. No chance. The Redskins are doing backflips. And they got Dwayne Haskins. Kevin O'Connell was my Elite 11 coach that coached Dwayne Haskins when he was at the Elite 11. He has a rich history with Dwayne Haskins. He's from the area. Like, that was a no-brainer. Gettleman, there's no way you can justify saying that the Redskins were going to take him. So who was going to take him? Did the Dolphins fall in love with him? I doubt it. Like, that's just not – nobody was going to take him.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to argue with anything that you're saying right now. So you think it was right for Haskins to watch the drafting of Daniel Jones, as we've seen in the video of him watching his phone and just shake his head, kind of laugh a little bit, huh?
We need more competitors like that. I'm at a high school right now where everybody's trying to be nice all the time. Being an elite competitor, you need that chip on your shoulder. That is how you respond. Every NFL quarterback watches another NFL quarterback when they're in game prep. It's like, why is that guy going to the Pro Bowl? I'm better than him. That's what elite competitors think. That's how they feel. That's how they respond. If anybody is making fun of Dwayne Haskins and how he responded, they've never competed at the razor's edge. They've never felt what the tip of the sword feels like at the highest moment of pressure. I mean, that is what we do. Maybe it's not politically correct, but that's how we respond to those types of things.
And we're going to see, assuming it all does work out, obviously, for both kids, twice a year, Daniel Jones versus Haskins, too. Giants, Redskins, NFC East. I mean, that's some good filet mignon steak there, Trent, right?
It is, but my fear, Rich, is that Daniel Jones just became Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert, Jake Locker.
Why?
Because that draft is the greatest example of overdrafting quarterbacks in my lifetime, or my time of following the draft closely. I mean, those are 3 quarterbacks that were probably second, third round picks. That went, I think the latest was 15, if I can remember correctly. Maybe even 11 was the latest of that group. And you knew the team was invested because they have to try to prove themselves right. So they give these guys a pretty long leash. All of them got a pretty long leash on their first teams. But it was pretty evident early on that, and I like all 3 of the guys, and it makes me sick that I have to even criticize them late. But their careers panned out that they had giant gaps in their game and they weren't ready to play right away. And I'm afraid if Eli only plays 1 year, or if the New York crowd calls for Eli's head and they got to throw Daniel in there too soon, that he'll be exposed because his training will only get him so far. And he doesn't have the juice like a Kyler Murray or a Dwayne Haskins or even a Drew Lock in Denver to carry him through those times. Because that's what you need. When you don't have it figured out, and I'm the poster boy for this, when you don't have it figured out and you're literally dying out there, you better have enough physicality and toughness and grit and swag to get through it. Because if you don't, they're going to get rid of you. And those 3 guys I'm talking about, Locker, Ponder, Gabbert, really nice kids, great kids, good husbands, good fathers, good teammates, great guys. Maybe quite not enough juice to carry him through those dark moments. And that's what he's going to need, and I don't know if he has it.
Trent Dilfer.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope the kid makes 9 Pro Bowls. I love being wrong on quarterbacks or I'm critical. I hope he makes 9 Pro Bowls. But that's what it looks like right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Trent Dilfer here on the Rich Eisen Show. So it stands to reason what we've been talking about with Kyler Murray being taken first overall. Good fit with the coach, and they were drafting with Steve Keim and the Cardinals after the pick to just keep supplementing what they're building anew there. Trent, would you agree with that?
Yep, I thought they did a great job. I mean, it's a great fit. It's a unique talent. It buys them, like we talked about when I did your show before the draft, it buys them some time to figure out pass protection, both from a talent standpoint and a scheme standpoint, because he's hard to get down. Like, he's just going to be hard to bring down. He'll make plays. He'll be inconsistent. He'll be wildly inconsistent for a while, but he'll have enough splash and sizzle and savior in him to let that leash get longer. He'll fill the stands. He'll get his teammates excited because there's nothing NFL guys like more than playmaking. When players in a locker room see playmakers, they go, okay, well, he can mess up 4 or 5 things as long as he can make a play. And that'll buy him time. It'll buy them time. I don't think they got enough out of Rosen, but I'm sure there's a backstory to that. Keim's not an idiot, known him a long time. I'm sure they were trying to shop him around as much as they could. I think what killed them was that when McShay came out and guaranteed that Murray was going to get drafted a few days before the draft. Todd McShay, DJ, Bucky, these guys don't come out 100% sure of anything unless they're 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happened, I think it was Tuesday, if I can remember right, when I saw Todd go 99.9%, this is happening, I think every general manager says, well, that's coming from an owner. That's not coming from a general manager. That's not coming from a team president. That's coming from an owner. And when an owner says this is going to happen, and then Todd McShay says it's going to happen, then his trade value goes way down. So that's my take on that. So they didn't get enough for Rosen, but they did a really good job. And this kid is going to be lightning in a bottle. I mean, he's been that way since he was. I remember coaching when he was like 14. He was a freshman in high school. I remember seeing him at a camp, and he was tiny, but he already had electricity in him that very few kids have ever. And he's gonna be one of those poster boys for the NFL.
Trent Dilfer here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk, Rosen. What do you think of the fit there in Miami? New coach, new system, again for this kid who you've known for a long time as well. He is all grown up through the way that I think he handled everything, Trent. And now, though, you know he's going to a team that has coveted Tua for quite some time. What are the odds that this can happen to him again, unless this is really a good fit? They're bringing in a Patriots-type system that I think suits him well from everything that I've seen and heard. What are your thoughts on this with Rosen getting an opportunity in Miami?
I'll address the first part second because I don't really know that much about it. I do know about the fit. The fit is perfect, and that's what I text Josh when it happened. I was just like, dude, great fit. Believe it or not, it hurts now, but you'll be thankful for this. You're going to an academic system, and that's what Josh needs is an academic approach to football. Highly intellectual, a lot of burden put on the quarterback, a high-level sophistication in both scheme and training. That's what will bring the most out of him. Josh Rosen needs to be challenged. He needs every single day to feel like everybody is challenging him. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's basically Aaron Rodgers' clone in how they demand excellence from everybody. And it brings more out of them when you put that burden on him. And that's what the Patriot way is, and that's what they're bringing to Miami, plus Caldwell, who has a track record with dealing with all kinds of academic-type quarterbacks, maybe the most cerebral one of all time in Peyton Manning. So it is brilliant. It's a brilliant fit for Josh. Now, the second part of it, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they've coveted Tua, and you know how I feel about Tua. And maybe that changes their approach. I honestly, I don't have words for that because I didn't even know that was in play. If that happened to him again, wow, now that might be too much for anybody to handle. But I think for the time being, Josh is in a really good spot. And Fitz, I mean, Fitz is a guy that's there who's going to compete with them. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. He's going to pull practical jokes on them. But he's also going to give them the keys to the NFL car as a quarterback. Meaning, like, here's the secret. Here's the stuff behind the veil. Here's the stuff that, like, 100 people know. There's about 100, 150 of us that know the stuff that really happens. And Fitz is one of them. And he's going to be able to give Josh all the stuff. And when you know the stuff, it can speed up your learning curve exponentially faster than what a coach could tell you.
Last thing for you, Trent Dilfer here on the Rich Eisen Show. Last thing for you here. Drew Lock to Denver, Finley to Cincinnati. Let's talk briefly about the kids that were taken on the next couple of rounds and where you think the best opportunity to succeed. Stidham in New England as well, obviously. What do you think the best drafted other quarterback wound up in a quality spot?
I think Locke, Stidham, equally great picks. Both, I think, will be multi-year starters because they'll have a little bit of time to sit and learn from really good quarterbacks, one learning from the best of all time. And I know, again, Jared Stidham and I we go way back, and he's always wanted to be more Tom Brady-ish. He's just always been in systems that don't allow him to be Tom Brady-ish. So, again, I think he'll thrive with the academia part of the game. Drew Lock, I always coveted him for a long time. He fits what they want to do. I think he'll be a really good back to the defense play-action type quarterback, much like Flacco is. So I think he'll get a year or two of training of how to play that type of game instead of being a spread guy. I think he'll be an action guy. He's got the traits to be a really elite action guy where you're pushing the ball, 15 to 40 yards down the field on a regular basis and maximizing your arm talent. The Finley one was weird to me because if you're trying to get rid of Andy Dalton, then draft somebody different than Andy Dalton. I think they drafted a poorer version of Andy Dalton. He's got less traits, probably a little more academic. Again, I keep wearing that word out, but it's true. A little more academic than Andy, but less juice. That one, that to me did not seem like a home run pick. I thought there were other guys that would bring more immediate value to trying to replace Andy Dalton than Ryan Finley. But Ryan Finley is also a guy that has gotten better every year. He has gotten more athletic every year. He shows, 2 years ago, you watched this film, you're like, no chance. Last year, you're like, okay, now we're starting to show some juice. So he might be one of those late bloomers, a la Tom Brady, that actually becomes a better athlete and a higher performer when more is expected out of him.
Trent, you're the man. I could listen to you for absolute days, and thank you. I can't wait to chat already.
Anytime, buddy.
You're the man.
Anytime for my original TV mentor. Taught me more than anybody, so thank you.
You're the man, Trent. You take care, bud. It's Trent Dilfer at Dilfer's Dimes. Look, I have immense respect for everyone that I work with. Immense. And I've heard, or people that are on other stations, other networks, whatever. I've heard nothing but disappointment in the Giants picks. I've heard nothing but it. And every single time, I'm like, you never know. You know, Sean O'Hara went on the NFL Network, who knows the organization, knows the system, knows the quarterback, says that you put Peyton and Eli Manning in a blender, and out comes Daniel Jones. That's what he says. Okay? So you never know. As he said, maybe he can go to 9 Pro Bowls. It'd be great. I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
Every time I'm like, pump the brakes. You never know. Who knows? After having heard that, for the first time, I'm genuinely concerned for my New York Giant friends. He knows the kids. He knows them well. He knows the system. Oh, my gosh. What he just said about Daniel Jones? They reached, Joel Klatt he came on the next day, and when he strolled onto our set at the Courtyard in Nashville, and he says they reached for everyone by at least 10 spots.
Every single one of their picks.
Except for the corner that they took at 30. That kid from Georgia that they took, DeAndre Baker. A lot of teams wanted him. The Rams traded out right away as soon as the Giants hopped up in front of them. So that's what I'm saying. And not everyone's right about everything.
Right.
But he said it would take years for the Giants to overcome what happened on Thursday night, and now I'm genuinely concerned for him. 844-204-RICH, your phone calls. Big news coming out of the Himalayas. By the way, that we're going to hit on in hour number 3. Big news.
Indeed.
All right. Big, huge footprint news.
Big.
All right. That's all coming up here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Have you checked out the big podcast with Shaq here at Podcast One? Yeah, we talk basketball, but we're a lot more than just sports.
I met this fabulous lady. She had to be in her 70s, knew everything about me, knew everything about sports. And the last thing she says, I love your podcast. And I was like, thank you very much. But I hate that John Kincaid.
That's terrible. Listen free to the big podcast with Shaq exclusively on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and the Podcast One app. If you love the show, share it with a friend and leave us a rating and review.
Stay tuned for 60 seconds of AP News headlines right after this podcast.
Swing it and drive! Get the
Going yard.
3-2 pitch, a blast to right field and deep. Back it goes, deep it goes. Twins lead 1-0. Adrianza homers. Adrianza clears the Supercuts Super Seats. Found the Gate 34 Experience Plaza in right field. Man, did he hit that. And the Twins have a 1-0 lead.
Going yard.
Now, that's a very professional call.
Yes, indeed.
But wouldn't you want to hear a play on word on Adrianza instead of talking about the Supercuts,
You got to get the sponsor.
I know you got to get the sponsor. Who are you talking to? I got about 15 million of those sponsors in here.
The sponsor in.
The branding.
I went to that park on Saturday.
Adrianza with a bonanza. You know what I mean? Now, you went to that park. You went to Target Field, right? You liked
it was 40 degrees on Saturday.
I mean, that's what April baseball is in Minnesota or Northeast or whatever.
I think that's the reason why I'm sick today.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, you know what?
It was brutal.
It was cold. If you were out there for a game.
I did wait in line for 45 minutes for miniature donuts.
It's tough flying around. Or maybe, what do you think? Breathing in all that, whatever the hell you're breathing in with your Instagramming of all your slot machining.
That probably didn't help.
Okay, excuse me here. Hold on a minute. Let me do this real fast.
We're going for that, man.
Let me do this real fast. You get an old. It's kind of an old gen stat. Hit it, please, Mike Del Tufo. Go ahead, hit it.
Old gen stats.
Brought to you by Capital One's reimagined banking by offering savings and checking accounts with no fees or minimums and one of the nation's best savings rates. Capital One, member FDIC approval required. Capital One, what's in your wallet? That's the 4th straight start for Verlander, losing 1-0, giving up a solo home run. What? Yes. The only other pitcher since 1920 in the live ball era to have that happen to him is Greg Harris of the Padres in 1991. That is 4 straight starts allowing 1 run on a solo home run. That's freaky. That's your old gen stat here in the Rich Eisen Show.
Old gen stats.
Mike, you're impartial. Not really, but I'm saying.
Yeah, I am.
What would you rather see
Go ahead.
on an Instagram live feed?
Okay.
With somebody on their downtime.
Okay.
Photographs of Venice, Rome, beautiful food plates, all of Italy, or somebody taking 15-second shots of the Godfather slot machine.
How great was that slot machine?
I'm not gonna lie.
Slot machine, Instagram, like 5 straight slot machines.
I actually love the Brockman because the boat thing is in reference to me buying a boat.
Thanks, Mike.
And he adds in there, and I'm not going to lie, I'm impartial. I actually like the slot machine stuff better.
More than an Italian vacation?
No, 1 picture, 2 pictures, I get it. But the slot machines?
Here's the difference. Here's the difference.
6 Instagram slot machines, and you complain about I had to turn you off, Rich.
Here's the difference. My Instagram feed is a joke. It's stupid. My pictures are dumb. They're of nothing. They're one-word captions.
Yep.
And yours is like trying to be a legit Instagram feed. So you have a blue check mark, like mine is dumb.
We're like,
if you come to my
normal
story, you know what you're getting. You're getting stupidity.
It's like me. That's why I do the sweaty selfies.
I can't win. Why do I even attempt to try and win?
Maybe enjoy your vacation and don't take so many darn pictures.
Jackpot with Michael Cudlett's third hour.
Hello, guys. It's MMA fighter Chael Sonnen. Check out my podcast, You're Welcome, with Chael Sonnen every Wednesday and Friday right here at Podcast One. We cover the latest in mixed martial arts and everything else going on in the world of sport. Listen free to You're Welcome with Chael Sonnen, exclusively available at podcastone.com and on the Podcast One app. If you love the show, share it with a friend and leave us a rating and review.
Gun violence claims lives on a North Carolina campus. I'm Jackie Quinn with an AP News Minute. 2 people were killed when a gunman opened fire on a campus building at the University of Carolina, Charlotte. 4 people were wounded. Campus Police Chief Jeff Baker was asked if the suspect is someone that they knew was troubled.
It's an ongoing investigation that could reveal something like that, but I can tell you right now, it's not. He is not somebody that is on our radar.
No names or possible motive yet released. The man accused of killing a woman inside her California synagogue this weekend and blasting the finger off of a rabbi has entered a not guilty plea today in court. A flood barrier failed in Davenport, Iowa, sending water gushing through the downtown area. People had to be rescued from buildings and cars. A major power shortage at the International Space Station has delayed a launch of supplies this week. I'm Jackie Quinn.